we had a coach called John Cook at the time for our region, and the way Stoke people say cook or book, he would used to say kook. So one time there was something where he picked up a book, took it off the table, John Cook, and Dave Wally came out with the inevitable phrase, "Look at the book that John Cook took." So
that is so good. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Kickpoint, the Golf Gear Show. Thank you once again for your company. My name is Dan and I'm joined by Joe the Pro Ferguson. Hello, Joe.
Hello, Dan. How are you?
Oh, you beat me to it then.
Yes,
I'm doing really, really well, thank you, mate. I've actually just got back from a little trip from New York.
Oh, yes. How was it?
Yeah, nice holiday. Seeing some friends, chilling out. Very un-golf related, unfortunately.
That was unauthentic there, actually. I just asked you how it was and I already know how it was. We've had that.
We've spoken about it.
But you did some cool things, didn't you? You saw
the marathon going on. Yeah, the leaves were all changing in Central Park. It was all good fun. But I've not hit a golf club for a little while, and I'm anxious about that. I'm practicing a new grip thing at the minute. And I've not hit a ball for a week and a half.
How motivated do you feel to play golf at the moment? Because it's
very, very little at the minute. It's tough, isn't it?
Over here.
Oh
yeah.
It's horribly tough. The ground's getting softer. And I do find it tough to get golfing in the winter. Generally, I don't really know what to do about it. What do you do in the winter to get your golf in?
Are we doing that? Are we going here?
We can go there. Yeah, it's that time of year now. We're in blinking December.
Yeah, it is a tough one, isn't it? Like I think historically I've been one of those sort of hibernators. I would, in terms of getting on the course, hibernating. There's just something about I don't particularly enjoy about having freezing hands, being soaked through, being
trudging.
Blown all over the place.
It's the trudging for me through mud.
Squelching. But yeah, I think if you're smart, you can kind of make sure you're using this period of time to make sure you enjoy your spring and summer golf more, can't you? Like, for example, I'm pretty determined to hit the gym, lose a couple of stone, feel a bit fitter. I've done a couple of videos lately where I have to watch myself and go,
it's never good.
B, I'm doing like a course vlog and I'm chatting away and some heavy breathing going on just because I've gone up like a 2% incline slope on a green.
But a bit of gym work does feel golf related over the winter somehow. So it still feels like you're working at golf. You're trying to get your body fit and ready for the spring, I guess.
You can go very golf specific, can't you? But I'm going to go more like general fitness, but with an eye on golf. So some more mobility. So I'm 41 now. So
great age.
When I feel that's kind of when I play golf now, I used to, when people say, cool, you'll know about it the next day. Like I do now. I'll drive home after an event. If I'm driving more than 45 minutes, I get out the car.
Which is everywhere for you.
Everywhere. It's like I've got rigor mortis. Like I'm stiff. And I'm shattered the next day. So so many over 40s or 40 plus, I guess. I just think would massively benefit from some flexibility stuff, some yoga, Pilates, stretching, whatever it is. My neighbour Gary, Sparky, lives next door to us, does all our electrical work purely for golf balls, grips.
It's a nice relationship to have.
T-shirt, brilliant guy. But we went up the range. He's like, I want to get longer. And Gary's, I think he's got to be probably around 60. Decent golf swing, can hit it. It's about sort of 12 to 15 handicap.
Yeah.
I want to get longer. And I'm just looking at him and he sort of moves around like Lurch from the Addams Family. He just doesn't have any mobility. He's an electrician. He spends all day like in tight spaces.
Yeah, kind of held up. Yeah, curled up.
He's just really tight. And you say, when was the last time you stretched? I don't stretch.
Yeah.
And I just think, for your physical, just the enjoyment of not hurting, it would be significantly beneficial. And B,
benefits to your golf?
Really beneficial to your golf. I don't think necessarily a lot of people need to get much stronger to be able to hit the ball a long, long way.
It's all about the ability to
range
turn.
of movement, and turning. So I think that's something I'm going to focus on.
Good idea.
Feel that way.
It's a good idea.
But also there's other opportunities in there you can address troublesome technical issues.
I'm doing a grip change this winter.
You wouldn't want to do that in
middle of
April,
season.
May,
No,
when you're
gosh,
about to play a load of golf, would you? So that's a good idea.
I think a piece of advice, if you are a bit struggling at the minute to get out and play some golf, or I'm really in love with it at the minute, which is fine. Take a bit of time off it. You play a lot in the summer, but work on something specific that's plagued you the year before. I think it's always a good idea.
Yeah, good time to put those sort of demons to bed. Did you hear Rory talking about?
He's been doing all sorts
this week. Yeah, so
not looking at ball flight.
Yeah, so we're recording this at the time of the HSBC Abu Dhabi Championship, aren't we? Which I'm going to actually. Abdabs, as we've dubbed
Abs.
But he's done a press conference talking about he's making some swing changes. He's made a very conscious effort to not see a single ball flight for 3 weeks. What he's doing, because when you're trying to make swing changes, you start reacting to, well, that's gone right. So if you just take ball flight out of it, so he's basically locked himself in a simulator room without the simulator on, just hitting into a blank screen for 3 weeks, feeling positions in his swing with the camera rolling and working on the pure mechanics of his golf swing without being influenced by ball flight. Really interesting way. I've got to be very disciplined to do it, because I'd go like 2 days doing that and be like, this feels good now. I'll have a look at where this is going. But he's smarter than me. He
is smarter and better than you. And that's
indoor simulator golf, I think it's gotten way better, don't you?
Way better. Oh my gosh. Think about the sort of technology that's available to you, the density of it. It's more readily available to people.
Yeah, it feels like every town in the UK now
you'll be able to find something.
Has an indoor simulator place, whether it's sort of more training or whether it's more commercial,
but then even the ability to purchase and set up your own home sim. We've got that Square Golf launch monitor that's £600. I'm not pretending that's cheap, but in the grand scheme of things, it is. You buy a net, you buy a mat, you're away. You can really work on your game privately over the winter. So loads of options. Let us know what you do to keep ticking over this time of year. And it's tough, especially in the UK. It's dark, it's grey. The thing I love doing all the time, my main hobby, is kind of on hold. It's a weird period, but hey, we'll get through it. Nip away to some sunshine, as we're lucky to do. Always helps, doesn't it? Right, I haven't told the people what's coming up this week, Joe. In this week's episode, we've got another head-to-head. We introduced that last week.
No, we've got a head-to-head.
Excuse me, of course. It's a three-way fight this week between the TaylorMade P770, the Callaway Apex Pro, and the Mizuno Pro 245. It's been called the fight of the century, Joe. It hasn't. It's just some irons we're comparing to each other. But a little different format we're trying at the minute while we're sort of waiting to talk about all the new stuff.
I think it'd be useful though. Like if people I want to do this more often. These are irons that are going to remain pretty current, and a lot of people would. They fit a very broad spectrum of people. And some people will be interested to know what the performance differences are and the characteristics. So hopefully this will be a good public service announcement. Yeah,
definitely. And if you like seeing these head-to-heads, let us know. We'll keep doing them. If you don't, let us know. We'll stop doing them. Or if there's any products you want to see Joe put head-to-head specifically.
Or Dan, if you want to hear about some shoes, some bags, some trolleys, some GPS stuff. If you want it to be not just clubs and balls, Dan's your man.
Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that. So let us know about that.
Trying to avoid work.
Yeah, class. I'm trying. Oh, same. Kickpointpodcast@futurenet.com. We'll be on YouTube next week, Joe, hopefully.
Exciting.
And our socials may have already launched. We don't know yet because we've recorded this in the past. Help us out, follow us, find us. If they have launched, I'll link them in the description. You'll see clips from the show, but we're trying to do some more bespoke stuff to kind of enhance the Kickpoint experience for everyone who's been listening and enjoying it so far.
I'm going to invite people into my office. I've got a little studio set up in my office nearly, haven't I?
Yeah, I'm excited to see what you do with that, actually. You got some images going up, I've seen. You're going to make some good content from there.
Yeah, I'm hoping to chuck up a few little tidbits for the Kickpoint socials. Just some opinion stuff, a bit more informative stuff. Just keep some content flowing out there.
So follow those. They'll be in the linked in the description. And what else? That's all I've got to say. I'm sort of looking for a clue on what to say next, really. That's about it. So let's start, shall we? With the head mosquito there. A head-to-head. First time we've been doing this. And what I want to do here, Joe, I've got a pad and pen behind me here.
This is news to me.
It is news to you. So we're going to put these irons, as we said, these irons are in date. They were released sort of at the end of 2024. And they won't, as far as we're aware, definitely won't be replaced in the near future. It'd be crazy if they do. They're 2-year cycle ones. So let's put them head to head. I've asked you to I've split them into a few categories. So looks, which I know is an awkward one, but I'll let you get onto that. A launch monitor winner, i.e. like a data winner. The unquantifiable winner, as I think is an important and interesting category to talk about. Sound, feel, turf interaction, stuff like that. And we'll crown an overall winner. What I'm going to keep a track of is you're going to rank each club 1 to 3 in each of these segments. And whoever comes out with the lowest score at the end of it.
Lowest score wins.
Lowest score wins, as is in golf. How appropriate from us, yeah. So let's talk about the category we're in these 3 irons first. Let's set the parameters. Let's contextualise these guys before we plough into your opinions.
Can't remember what you said there. What have I got to do?
Let us know about these irons.
Right.
What are we talking about here?
We are going to start with looks. So I really like this category. And as I've sort of alluded to on some of the other episodes, you can almost subcategorize this category now. So there was just hollow-bodied players' distance irons, but now we've got this sort of compact player distance iron selection and stuff that's a bit bigger, does the same job, it's just a little bit bigger and more forgiving. So again, the best example I can give you is P770 would fall into this, from TaylorMade, would fall into that compact one. P790, it's sort of bigger.
Is that big
sibling
zoomy?
Would go big zoomy for me. So we're looking at the more compact area with these 3 irons. So important to categorize them in that regard.
It is.
Looks wise, right, all 3 of these irons are really good looking irons in their own right, but of the categories we've selected, I think this is the easiest to judge depending on where I go with it. Doesn't make
Figure that
sense.
one out.
But
as in which angle you're talking
yeah,
about.
so
we spoke about this last week.
I did, and I'm trying to figure out a way to best quantify this because, as I said to Dan, there's some irons I look at when they're sat in the bag look amazing. When they're sat on the shop floor from the back, so you're seeing that back angle, the branding, the finish, all that kind of stuff. Important, but when push comes to shove,
pretty
relevant. Yeah,
pretty irrelevant.
You're only looking at that. The look of it only really matters when it's in the playing position, right?
It's the only place you're going to
ball.
interact with it, apart from looking at your back and going, "Ooh, they're nice, aren't they?"
Yeah, because that's where the magic happens. Does it sit square? Does it frame the ball nicely? Is it big enough? Is it shaped well? Like that's the big stuff for me.
So how are you doing this?
I don't know. I'm sort of changing my mind as I'm going along here because the Mizuno, to me, from the shelf appeal back position, stands head and shoulders
pretty
above.
pure, isn't it?
Oh, it's just gorgeous. Just the finish, the curves, the minimalism. I love what Mizuno have done when they're not filling the sort of engravings in with paint fill. I always love that as a little.
Yeah, you always point that out, and
like
I didn't notice it, to be fair, until you pointed it out. And it's like,
it just gives a really classy look when you're looking at like posh fancy chef's knives and things that are engraved. They very rarely see paint fill on them. They just do the engraving. It's pure.
Interesting comparison though. I like
craftsmanship.
Craftsmanship.
It's all about craftsmanship.
An artist's tool.
However, I think from the playing position, and Mizuno people won't like me saying this, as in Mizuno fans, something about Mizuno irons from a playing position point of view just never quite suited my eye. I can appreciate how beautifully made they are. There's something about the transition from the hosel into the top edge on some of the irons and the leading edge doesn't quite suit my eye. I can see why they suit a load of people's eyes, but it's not what I look for. However, I'm taking my hat off here. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to give you the winner yet, but that's where my dilemma lies.
So your dilemma with the Mizuno is they're beautiful from the shelf appeal point of view, they sit in the bag.
So far ahead of anything. Yeah,
so far ahead of anything, that's significant. But then sat behind the ball, not your favourite.
Not quite my favourite, but again, I need to quantify that. They're not bad in any way. They do all the right things.
They're just not your favourite.
Some people,
but that's I think with looks especially, it's tricky because it's so subjective. But I think it's nice to hear your opinion, Joe. It's what you paid to do.
P770 have had a brilliant makeover. So they've sort of repositioned that P770 iron closer to the player's cavity. So the P7CB, so they've sort of remarketed it. Had a little, rather than just being P790's annoying little sibling, they've given it its own space, made it a lot closer to being sort of a more playery iron. So it again, really clean and minimal. This is tough. I thought this was
a tough
easy,
one.
actually.
I think the more you speak about it out loud, but I think the sort of the line on the back of that club specifically looks gorgeous.
I do, yeah. It's lovely shaping.
A nice hint to some TaylorMade irons from the 90s, I think, in there that people have quite a lot of affinity for.
And they've taken away a lot of bright chrome from other models, some slight more stripes. It's really subtle. So from a playing position, I'd give it to the P770s out of these 3 irons. I love the way they sit behind the ball. Nice compact blade length. They just look great in behind the ball. They're really, really good.
Where's the Callaway sit in this then? Yeah, kind
Apex
of in the
Pro
middle of both.
Middle of both, yeah. So it's like, my favourite thing about these, you've mentioned it before, just how cohesive they are with the rest of the range, to be able to combo that set. I love how tightly they sit within their family. I also they look a bit more robust. So you've got like that little notch cut out of the back, filled with the weights, so it makes it easy to alter the swing weight within fittings. puts that center of mass right behind the impact zone, which really helps the feel. And they do feel great, which we'll get onto in a moment. But I've decided.
Oh, I'm ready.
I just think Mizuno from the back, even though I don't like the playing position as much as some other irons, I just think they're that far ahead of everything else from that angle.
Deserves to be crowned.
I'm going to go 1.
1 for Mizuno.
2, P770.
Cool.
And 3 for Apex Pro.
That, from your analysis there, I think is fair.
Okay.
More than fair, actually. I think it's very accurate.
Right, launch monitor battles. This is the quantifiable data. So for context, not all the same loft. So P770 and Apex Pro are at 33 degrees, whereas the Pro 245 from Mizuno is at 30 degrees, so 3 degrees stronger.
Wow, that's very strong.
Than the other two. So this isn't all apple for apples.
No.
But interestingly, so from the data I got, so let's go ball speed. The quickest off the face, even though it was 3 degrees weaker for me, was the P770, 124 miles per hour, just over. Pro 245, 122.5 miles per hour. Apex Pro, 122.7, so they're basically the same. The highest launching for me was the Apex Pro, which might be very important for some people in this category who want a bit more launch out of it. So again, I'm having to take off my hat of what I would look for. I'm looking for people who are going to be shopping in this category and seeing what I think is most appropriate. So along with the higher launch from the Apex Pro, they're the highest spinning at 6.6 for me, 6,600 revs. P770s were just over 6,400, and the Pro 245 being stronger in loft, about 6,000, just under 6,300, so still decent.
Still decent for a 30 degree.
All pretty similar apexes. Of peak height, 95 feet for the P770 and the Mizuno Pro 245, and the Apex Pro just a couple of feet higher at 97. Clear winner in the distance, based primarily on the ball speed, the TaylorMade P770. That was carrying 184 for me with a 7-iron.
Even with that Mizuno at 30?
Yeah, the Mizuno was 177. So a good 7 yards behind it for me.
What's going on there?
Sometimes you do have to... I will caveat this. Because I did retest them on the same day. The same balls. I was trying to say like different days and different stuff can make a difference, but I did actually test these in the same place with the same balls in the same conditions. So I think it's pretty
the
fair.
Numbers, yeah. You've got to take them on the chin.
Yeah, them's the fact. And the Apex Pro was just a yard longer than the 245 at 178 for me. So it was a good bit of distance boost from the P770. So again here, totally subjective to your needs. If you're looking for ball speed, clearly P770.
Ball speed and distance in that one, right?
If you're looking for height and launch, then the Apex Pro, for me,
definitely
did the job.
Where does the Mizuno sit in all of this?
Yeah, middle of the road, performance-wise. In terms of the quantifiable data, but maybe it'll do better on the non-quantifiable. Who knows?
Tease.
But for me, the closest data to what I would like to see, I think, was the P770.
Yeah.
It's a good mid-spin point of the 3 long irons, the longest carry and highest ball speed, which, to be honest, if I was dipping into this category, I'm going into this hollow-bodied category because I want the advantages of that flexing face, a bit thinner and a bit more oomph, as you like me to say.
I do.
So, yeah, I'm going... The quantifiable stuff for me is going to go P770 1, Apex Pro 2, and obviously the Mizuno
3. Okay, interesting. There. And I think there for those listening who might be shopping in this category, I think you spelled out actually what the differences are. So if you recognise a need that you need filling in the market for some irons, there you go.
Good place to start.
Good work. On quantifiables, and what are we talking about here? Like sound, feel, vibes?
Vibes is not one. Sound and feel is one. Turf interaction, because I think that's really underrated. People don't think about
that don't, actually.
as much as they possibly should. Consistency and forgiveness. Again, difficult to put number values on these things, so that's why I'm saying they're non-quantifiable.
Okay.
Sound and feel. So Mizuno really did it for me here. It's a perfect blend of lively without being harsh. Even though maybe the ball speed comparative to the others doesn't suggest that lively, but it really feels like it's got some life and some bounce to strike with nothing firm. It just feels really syrupy at impact.
Oh, I like that word, Joe.
Apex felt a little hotter off the face, and really sort of muted acoustic. There's no sense of a high-pitched, tingy, anything like that. Mizuno particularly have done a lot of work on their sound. P770 also felt great, but I would say a bit more robust than the other two, just a bit of a firmer impact feel. Sometimes I think the speed slot in the P770 and P790, because I tend to miss low when I miss it. I'm more thin than fat or high on the blade. Just get a little bit firmer feel from that. It's great performance. The tech's great on that speed. It retains so much ball speed, but from a feel point of view, which I'm talking about here, which is more non-quantifiable, when I hit it low, I just prefer the other two a little bit more. Although I feel harsh on that. Do you want me to put them? Do you want me to grade sound effect, or am I just grading non-quantifiable all as one?
I mean, we're at the stage where I think we could do that, and we could then take. My maths isn't so great.
We can cut. Figure this out. I'm gonna make it hard.
Go on,
for you.
go on, do it. No, I think
Mizuno one there.
Hold on, but this is for what? My table's
Sound
now
and
ruined.
feel.
S and F.
S and F.
Bit of S and F. Mizuno.
Yeah.
1.
Apex.
2.
P770.
Okay. Cool. Now I can do this. And then what's next?
Turf interaction.
TI.
Bit of TI. So comfortably for me here, P770 based on where I play. It's got a lower leading edge than ever before. So
where do you let the people know where you play?
Saunton Golf Club, Linksea, firm turf, tight turf. So the leading edge on these sits really low, much lower than ever before. It sits nice and tight and really slices through that firm links turf. Both of the other two models feel and actually look visually as if they have more bounce. So if you're someone who plays in softer, longer grass conditions, you may be going to get a bit more margin for error from both of the other two, in my opinion. The Apex sole is a bit more contoured, so maybe a bit more versatility there. It's a really tough one to grade
isn't it?
Simply because
you clearly, and it's what you'd prefer, but these are your decisions, Joe. You can't think about everybody on the planet.
770 first.
Yeah.
Based on the play, but also they've sort of beveled the leading edge, so that plays well away from that.
And you're not saying it's only going to work on firm link surf.
It works particularly well there, but also it's great. Plays there. So I'm going to go there. I'm going to go I did like the Apex Pro.
So that'll be 2?
Yeah, Mizuno 3 there.
I'll tell you what, just eyeballing these.
Or is it moving about a bit?
There's like some have had lots of 1.
Why don't
like there's
you
a
not
1,
eyeball?
there's a 3. Well,
here's a thought.
I'm trying to look. I've got to look at the numbers.
Well, no. Why don't you eyeball a bit more intently and give yourself a running total so you don't have so many maths to do at the end? Let me do my talking.
I'm trying to listen to you and engage.
You do some totting up, and that'll keep us on track.
Right, what's next?
Bit of CNF. Consistency and forgiveness. So, right. Go on. I was going to announce this, but yeah, go on. So, Apex Pro, fairly comfortably for me on this one.
So I'm not listening because I'm counting.
Good. I'll round it up at the end then.
Why?
Both left and right and front to back was a little bit tighter than the other two models. So we talk about forgiveness in terms of it's multi-dimensional, isn't it? You want something to be forgiving. If you miss hit it, it's still going to make the distance.
Yeah.
Or you're not going to get a jumper off these hollow bodies that goes miles. Mm-hmm. But also when you miss it wide, you want it to be as tight as possible. I felt on both of those parameters for me, my grouping, particularly when I put them together all at the same time, was a little bit tighter than the other two models. It just really gobbles up miss hits.
That's
from a feedback point of view.
It's good to know.
Very, very, very flattering. The other two just give you a little bit more feedback, maybe. So some people see that as a negative. Yeah, some people see it as a negative. They don't want to feel that. Some people will see that as a positive because it's a learning experience. You can really get the feedback of where you hit it, and some people are really keen on that. Something to bear in mind, P770, like I said, I don't like the feel on the lower strikes, but it performs very well on those thin shots. So if you're a thinner like me, P770 is a good way to go. So Apex Pro first in that. Have you done that?
So I've got that one.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
sorry. No, I managed to add the numbers up quickly.
Mizuno 2.
Mizuno 2.
P770 next.
3. I'm getting flashbacks to my math classes here where I did not excel. Okay, great.
Workability.
W. I'll post this on our Instagram page. This is like the writings of a madman. This scribblings,
workability.
Yes,
what I mean by that.
This is a good category.
Yeah, you're again totally unquantifiable. So this is all anecdotal on my preference on this.
It's fine.
If you're in this market, you're getting away from game improvement. You might be somebody who's trying to hit lower shots, higher shots, left to right, right to left. You're going to move the ball a bit. Comfortably for me, P770 here.
Okay, good.
Thinner top line, shorter blade length, minimal offset. I found the club face easy to manipulate at, address, to produce the shots.
Why do those
I
first
wanted.
things you mentioned make it a more workable club for you?
The thinner top line doesn't really have much to do with that. It just maybe gives it the feeling of like a more bladey club that makes you feel
Like you're doing that.
like you possibly can do.
Okay.
Shorter blade length, I think, is easy. It's like if you're trying to turn the Titanic with it's big and long, might have a more wider turning circle. A little Porsche Carrera or something like that might turn a little. Do you know what I mean?
Superb
I don't know if there's any
referencing.
physics behind that, but
Superb
that's how
references, yeah.
it feels to me. So I'm going to change this up a bit because I found the Pro and the Mizuno very similar
Okay.
in that regard. So I'm going to have to give them both a 2.
Oh, that's fine. No, we can do that.
And the P770 takes the win.
Wow.
For that for me.
This is an epic
Now,
battle. For those tossing along at home.
Just on this, I picked a winner anecdotally from my head when I didn't realise we weren't
We were doing the points thing.
totting them up
Yeah.
to quantify it. I wonder if it matches.
We'll find out shortly, won't we?
Who goes first?
Are we done?
Yeah.
Can I just say, this has been fascinating because...
Well, I think we've nailed a new format.
Yeah,
here. We might need a better table.
Right, before we did W, which was workability, they were all tied.
Oh.
Can you believe that? Well, it's not that crazy, but that's kind of interesting, isn't it?
Well, doesn't that show you how little there is to choose then between some of these products?
Which is, I think, a good thing.
I do, yeah, I
Because it
agree.
gives the people at home when they're getting fitted more options. And then you do pick one on which category is most important to you that it might excel in. It could be just looks. It could be price. It could be anything from that point.
Well, any of you who have more than one GCSE here will now realise from Dan's previous statement that
Who's won?
P770 has won and the other two have tied for second. Because
I ruined the surprise.
yeah, you've totally ruined the
So the
suspense there.
P770 finished on 11 points.
Hang
and
on.
the other two
What did
finished
I put
on
there?
12.
My overall winner,
Oh!
P770. Just.
By a whisker.
Is
And
what-
you wrote down just on there. So
So that I'm glad that, all
cool,
adds up.
man.
That is
we,
cool.
We literally, we obviously spoke about doing this before the pod today, but this whole thing was like, anything could happen here.
New segment.
New segment just dropped,
segment.
bro. Enjoyed that.
Thank you.
Squeaky. And we'll do some more of them, I think. And let us know what you want to see. And we'll do 3 ways. We could do a 4-way.
Yep, we could. Just to round off that little section while Dan's giggling, if you are looking for the easiest of the bunch of those to use, the Apex Pro, I would say.
If you just after something that's
Super user-friendly. And if you're just a show pony who just loves looks,
That
feel, syrup,
slightly stronger
the
lofts
Mizuno
as
is
well.
pretty sexy. You might want to go there. So I hope, even though it was very tight in the scores, I hope that's highlighted the individual differences in the different categories you might want to keep an eye out
That's the beauty of that, I think. It's going to highlight to people what something excels in and maybe doesn't. So, for example, you know, the TaylorMade, the Mizuno got a 1 on looks, but a 3 on LM. Launched one today. I'll put this on our Instagram channel if that's even live yet, and you can see what the heck I'm on about. And if you want to see, you know, some things head to head, you might have had a fitting and you might have a few selected, and you want to hear us do this to it. Just let us know, man.
4-way.
Little 4-way.
Go with the 5-way.
I'm uncomfortable with that. I feel like one of them will be left out in a 5-way.
We've all got our limits.
Yeah.
You need a safe word there, I think, when you, and you might run out of paper.
I might run out of paper in a 5-way.
Yeah.
I could go landscape for the 5-way.
You could, yeah, why not?
Shut up.
Okay.
Right, it's time. Something else for her. It's the last episode of the day that we record. This is going to be mental. It's time for our favourite segment, Ask the Pod. 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 Whoa, that went down well, didn't it?
I think we nailed that.
I think we nailed that. We did rehearse that a couple of times. I'm not sure how awkward the first bit was when I was just sort of clicking, but that's the new jingle
I
for
didn't
Ask the
click,
Pod.
I bobbed a bit.
Glad you got to hear that, everybody. The new Ask the Pod jingle. We've kind of been waiting for one because every time I announce it, I've always said it needs a bit of something. So well done guys in the back there for absolutely smashing
Nailed
that
that.
first time around. That was fun. My heart's
Mate, you
racing.
happy?
My heart's racing.
You brewing up for that?
Oh, that was fun. Okay, this week it is from Colin in Stoke-on-Trent. Stoke-on-Trent. And this is an interesting one and something I didn't quite expect to hear from anybody, but Colin's clearly a maverick.
Can I just go on the Stoke? We like offending regions.
Yeah, the Potteries Stoke-on-Trent,
So
famous
you've
for its...
done Blackpool, you offended.
Yes.
You've done Essex.
Essex, I'm not welcome
You
there.
offended. I touched on the Japanese.
Yeah,
last
I don't think I've said anything about Stoke-on-Trent there. There's a famous thing from Dick and Dom in the Bungalow. Did you ever watch that? No, you're too old for that, isn't it?
I was going to reference a lad. I used to be on the England boys squads type of thing with a guy called David Wally from Stoke-on-Trent.
Right.
Wonderful player, maverick of a lad. Loose cannon on a night out.
And that's your Stoke-on-Trent impression.
We had a coach called John Cook at the time for our region. And the way Stoke people say cook or book. So there was... God, I'm off here. He was Johnny's got it already. He would used to say kook. So one time there was something where he picked up a book, took it off the table, John Cook, and Dave Wally came out with the inevitable phrase, "Look at the book that John Cook took." So that
is so good.
That was, and I don't think he meant it either.
He just said it like that.
That was quite funny. But that's all we got there. So sorry, Stoke. And sorry, Colin.
Sorry, Colin. But Colin's got a fascinating I think query. I'd call it a query because he's a bit sort of on the edge here. Right. I've recently been to a fitting, but I've not yet made the plunge to purchase. I'm an 18 handicapper and just love the look and feel of blades. But as you might imagine, they're not suited to my game. Correct. I'm not massively focused on competition and only put a few cards in a year to maintain a handicap. Is it a stupid idea to go for blades for the sheer enjoyment of the occasional middled strike? Or should I be going for something a little bit more forgiving? What an interesting question, because it actually, to me, it brings this philosophical, what do we play golf for? And to me, for Colin, it feels like he plays golf to middle that blade 2 times out of 10 and feel, sorry, Colin, if it's more, like a god. And if that's his enjoyment of golf, who are we to say no? That's my answer.
You taking it? You've got
That's my answer. We're actually moving on now.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to give some input, but I was just thinking in my head, are we going to round this section off? Do you have to top and tail this with the song, this section?
I'm not doing that again today.
Okay, cool. So
we nailed it. Don't touch it. We'll have to do it again next week, though.
Right, well, I'm inclined to agree with you, Dan, to a certain extent. I've got experience of this. I remember a guy who came into a fitting centre I was working in who... He was just fascinated by everything Miura. Loved Miura. Loved the heritage, the history, the craftsmanship. And in particular, I think I don't know if it was the extreme. There's the Miura baby blades, tiny little things. But I don't think it was those at that particular point, so I digress. But he just really wanted to play
a Miura set of irons.
Miura blades. But the guy was mid to late 60s, didn't have much swing speed. He wasn't a bad striker. I think he was around a 10, maybe just into single figures kind of guy. So it wasn't outrageous, the concept of him using it. But I mean, I could actively demonstrate to him that he was going to pick up, I think something like 15 yards with like a P per club with like a P770 with a ping, whatever it was at the time. And as much as he could see the performance benefits, and it was my job to highlight that, he had no love for the way they looked or the way they felt. And as he beautifully put, and I'd never really thought about it before, he played golf, as you're describing, for the love of it, for the enjoyment of the... it wasn't all about scores for him. It wasn't about winning the tournament. It was the love of the actual art of striking a golf ball and the feelings he got from that. And that really, to me, got me thinking about fitting in a different way. And what are we doing here? Like if I'm not... If I'm not playing... necessarily because I'm desperate to win the club championship or I want to win my PGA regional events or whatever, and I'm just it's a hobby that I'm going to enjoy. Like I can't think of an analogy, but like if you buy a car, there might be cars better suited to
for a practicality point of view.
But people buy cars that make them feel good, don't they? And like. Give the style they want.
Jeremy Elwood, our colleague, who reviews a lot of golf courses for us, Jez.
Living legend of the golf industry.
Yeah, I think just turned 60, played his 1000th golf course recently. I think it was a year or so ago, he bought a little Fiat sort of two-seater coupe.
Chikachenko?
No, that was the car from the In-Betweeners.
Yes, it was.
It's like a little sort of two-seater coupe roof-down thing.
Okay.
Obviously terribly impractical for a man who plays a lot of golf and wants to have a trolley as well.
Yeah.
And a big bag. But... he did it for the love of having a sporty little coupe in his 60s. I've got a heck of a lot of time for it.
I think I'm entirely...
This is what the blade feels like to me.
Yeah, and I think it's exactly the same. Obviously, if you're a tour player, your living depends on your score. So you need to optimize every little parameter: distance, spin, launch angles, descent angles. And if you can get something within that gives you joy and feels and looks great, so you're brilliant. But your number one priority is score, and you're judged
Nothing
and you
else
live and die
much,
by that. He wasn't bothered by this, and I was all for it in the end. I remember speaking to the owners of the place and said, I'm a little uncomfortable because I know I'm going to fit this guy into something.
Like morally, it's like, I know I could do better for him.
Yeah, I know I can give him more, but he didn't want it.
No.
And I can't tell him what he wants. So we merrily went down the route. We got all the Miura stuff out. He found him a nice fit for shaft that he could move well. He was comfortable. And yes, he lacked forgiveness. Yes, he could have picked up more distance. But my God, was he so happy with these irons. He loved them. And he went full bore. I think he put some custom BB&F co-ferrules on. Some like leathery chamois style grips. They were is it chamois or something like chamois? I don't know what I'm talking about. But they were very specialist.
I just nodded along to that word.
Did?
Like you knew what you were saying.
Yeah.
Do you want me to Google that for you?
No, don't, because I don't want to be corrected there.
Tough.
But yeah, I think that I can't answer any more than that. You have my full backing. If that's what you want and you're not too worried about optimizing your score, and that's going to make you enjoy your hobby more, which is what you go out for at the weekend.
It's what you spend your free time doing.
Go for it. And there's why the heck not?
I love it. It's fascinating. It when I read the email, it totally changed my perception of why you buy a golf club, why you play golf.
I think there'll be quite an even split of people listening to this, from the gearheads out there who are just determined to get their best ever possible setup and optimal performance.
And that's where I'd be at, 100%. To then try and get my best score.
Yeah,
which is what that's what I'm focused on.
I think
some people
aren't. I think there'll be a hardcore of people. Think about Stuart from the last episode, who was piecing together Faldo's sets from 90s majors. I don't know if he plays with them. That'd be cool. Interesting if he takes them out, and that might make him feel good. That might put him back in that era. And like, I get it. I think golf should be. It's a hobby. It's fun. It's what we're doing. Unless you're doing it for a living, go with what it feels good. Go with it.
Do it. Love that. Love that. Great piece of advice. And it was chamois.
Okay.
CHAMOIS. I spelled it SHAMOI. Chamois.
Chamois.
So thank you there, Colin, for the question. And to hear that jingle sung so beautifully next week, do tune in and do email us, kickpointpodcast@futurenet.com, to have your question answered after that catchy little jingle.
Love it.
I'm glad we finally made it to this stage where we're going to do jingles and stuff. Right then. Oh, it's interview time. Oh, no, it's not. I need to plug the magazine.
You're always forgetting this at the
I
moment.
always forget it. Sorry.
Well, how can you forget it? It's beautiful.
It's right behind you. I need to find the link. I should be able to remember the link because it's so memorable, actually. So, a special offer for Kickpoint listeners is the Golf Monthly magazine. Now, for those in the UK, I think you can only get this in the UK at the minute. We are offering 3 issues for £5.
That's good.
One issue is normally $5.99.
No brainer.
So it's a pretty good one. So go to www.magazinesdirect.com/kickpoint. I remembered it without even looking. To claim that offer, you'll get them posted directly to your door. It's got all our equipment stuff in it. It's got news, features, travel, instruction. There's a little crossword in there if you're into that thing, a golf-based crossword.
Opinion, features, interviews.
And it's a physical piece of journalism. There's no pop-up adverts on it. You can sit with a cup of tea, with a cup of coffee, and enjoy some good golf journalism.
I hope Nathan from the commercial team isn't listening to this, because that might give him an idea. Just make pop-up, literally pop-up ads at 3D ones.
You're halfway reading the piece and something.
And somehow a GT driver hits you in the eye. Yeah.
So head to that. That link is in the podcast description. And fair warning, it will subscribe you. It will try and auto-renew you. So if you don't want it, undo that. I don't want people coming back to us saying, "Oh, I auto-renewed." No one wants that. But if you do, it's $24.99 for 6 months,
which is still very good.
It's a great offer. So if you enjoy that introductory offer, you can go from there. So that's the Golf Monthly magazine plug done. Well done for remembering that, Dan. Interview time. We plugged this in the last episode, but again, we're not doing full Whitbys at the minute because we're in that weird cycle between equipment.
Didn't you say this isn't a full Whitby? This is a full Whitby.
It's a full Whitby.
It's just not
trying
something
new. It's a
player
different
Whitby.
person. We've gone to internet personalities, PGA Pro, YouTuber, James Robinson.
We have. I'm just catching your little table still out the corner of my eye.
Hilarious, isn't it?
Which is very off-putting, ludicrous. But yeah, I just thought it'd be a really cool, interesting one. So I've met James a few times on some of our press trips. He comes to a lot of these product launches because he deals primarily with equipment. A lot of his content most of it, I think, is all around independent club testing, and he makes some cool content videos playing on the course with this stuff. He does a lot of direct-to-consumer brands, as a lot along with the main manufacturers, does a few fitting videos. He's got a lot of experience, and he's tested loads of stuff. So I always think, again, we alluded to it before, what do people who have access to everything,
what are they actually gaming,
use? And it ties in a little bit with the Ask the Pod.
Steady now.
That we've just done there. Because I think, I don't know, because I haven't spoken to him, but
you'll formulate this opinion right now,
it's happening as we speak. But yeah, I've been around James, I've seen his bag, and I've got a hunch that some of James's choices, which we'll find out in a minute, might have something to do with the Ask the Pod around just pure enjoyment.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't compete necessarily in PGA events, but he gets to play things that make him feel good. But I'm not putting words in his mouth, and I'm interested to see when we speak to him.
Well, let's find out, shall we? Joe, you interviewed him. Well, the interview hasn't happened yet, I'm going to be brutally honest. So we're going to pass to the future and see what happens.
Right, we've got a special What's in the Bag today. We're in that twilight zone of where a lot of small players are changing equipment, a lot of new stuff coming out. So we are delving into the world of YouTube golf. We've got one of the UK's biggest YouTube, I think, with 270,000 followers. Is that right, Mr. James Robinson?
I believe we've just ticked over, yeah. How are you, Joe?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you very much for joining us. This is our second attempt, isn't it? We had some technical difficulties.
I'm going to say, should we address the elephant in the room? We've done this already. It was a lot more professional the first time. I was at work, you were at work. Now I'm in my kitchen, but it is what it is.
Needs must. I see, little Bay Hill mug there. Nice little.
I was laying that one for you. Yeah, little Bay Hill. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, we just come off the back of one of our Ask the Pods, where speaking to a gentleman who is not in the normal handicap bracket, you might say, for wanting to use blades. And he was asking whether it's a silly idea for him to use blades. I think he was around between 15 and 18 handicap, but the remit that he set out in this pod was that he just loves the feeling of a middled blade shot, and that's what he gets the pleasure out for golf. So why should he not seek that? And my follow-up question to that, or what I'm really getting at here, is when someone like you, who gets every club in the world to try, and your channel is so equipment-based, when you're making decisions about your equipment, are you always picking what's going to perform most optimal for you, or is it about enjoyment more so, or is it a blend? Where do you stand?
Personally, for me, when I'm playing golf, I'm playing for enjoyment. So for people who don't know, I'm a PGA Pro by trade. I've been a PGA Pro for about 10, 12 years. And it's always been what I wanted to do. I wanted to help people with golf, be that through one-to-one lessons. Now it's more through a kind of online space, and obviously reviewing golf clubs, which I didn't know I had the love for, but I really, really do enjoy it. And if I'm playing golf for enjoyment, am I going to enjoy shooting 72 way more than I'm going to enjoy shooting 75? Probably not, because it's not really going to make a difference. If you talk about enjoyment levels for me, and it's funny because I've started working with a company called SGGT, which is a coaching. It's a fitting centre. There's one in Edinburgh. There's one in Chesterfield. It's like Tour Performance Fitting. And one of the things that they've said is that generally you do see people who come in and they go, right, your remit is to fit me into a set of Miuras, a set of Honmas, a set of something which I want to play and I want to enjoy. Now, I get these comments quite a lot on my channel where people are so performance driven. I'm not saying for 1 second that it's wrong to be performance driven. Even like a 12, 15, and 18 handicap, they're saying, I want to play what I'm going to shoot my lowest scores with. And I think that's absolutely fine if that's what you want to get out of the game. And I think the question that you're posing is a really, really good one, because everybody should have a different answer, because everybody wants to take something different out of the game. So if you want to go and play with blades and you're not bothered that maybe you might shoot a couple of shots more, you might not shoot a couple of shots more, because you might just understand that the number on the bottom of the club is irrelevant compared to basically the loft angle and the shaft length. So realistically, you might not get much forgiveness out of the blade, but often it might actually push you to go and practice that little bit more, because you know you need to be on your game. So it's a really funny, and we could sit here talking about this for hours and hours, but I'm a firm believer that if your money, spend on what you want. Don't let anybody else apart from if you're going into like an unbiased fitting, don't let anybody else tell you what you should be using, and just have what you want to have, essentially, because 99.9% of the people on the planet play golf as a hobby. And even if you compete into a certain level, it's still hobby golf. It's not like if you're playing in national, county, whatever, that's still a hobby. You're not a professional golfer. So yes, I understand you want to play to the best of your ability, but also you're still there for the enjoyment. And if you're not enjoying it, you're probably stressed at work anyway, because most people are at the moment. So what are you doing it for? That's where I kind of get off with that.
Wise words there. Something you mentioned during that, touched on before, actually, at Precision Golf. A couple of people gave me the idea of juniors when they're sort of learning the game. They were big advocates of maybe some junior golfers playing blades, simply because it puts a premium on strike, sharpens up ball striking. All of a sudden, you start playing golf with massive game improvement stuff as a kid. Perhaps your margin for error is going to be greater than someone who's played with something more difficult. So there's schools of thought about using equipment to help your development as well. Don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, it's really interesting, because I used to do quite a lot of junior coaching. I used to go into schools and all sorts of stuff like assistant pros do up and down the country. You're kind of earning your stripes almost, aren't you, by doing the junior stuff? And I got really into it. I quite enjoyed it. I did like the TPI training and everything like that. And actually what I saw was a couple of parents would bring the kids with like Wilson launchpad irons or Slazenger Big Easy irons. And like, I'm making it really easy for Timmy, because all he has to do is like put club on ball. Well, that's fine. Do you want him to learn how to compress a ball? Do you want him to learn how to strike it and take a divot and control the ball flight? Or do you just want him to be able to get the ball up in the air so when he plays with his friends, he's enjoying it? Because it could be quite detrimental to if you do want to become a really, really good ball striker, because you're learning more to kind of sweep it off with the hybrids rather than compress it like down into the turf, as it were. So yeah, probably similar to you. I think it's hard to, especially for a junior, it's hard to say, well, where do you want to go with this? But also it's hard to say, well, you might struggle initially with this, but you will be a better golfer afterwards. And again, there's no wrong answer, really. I think it's like, I have a son myself, he's only 18 months old. He's never hit the golf club yet. But if you said to me, do you want him to be a golfer in brackets? I'd say, well, not really asked. Like, I think I want him to be a sportsman. I want him to be able to throw and catch a ball and kick a ball and do all sorts of stuff like that. And then eventually, I think when your hand-eye coordination becomes to a certain level, then yeah, if he enjoys it, by all means. But you'd never like push them into, you have to do this and you have to have these clubs to help you play better or help you beat all your friends. And we've all seen it, haven't we? We see it at like kids football or kids golf, where the parents probably a bit over the top. And yeah, it's a very interesting world of sport, isn't it?
It's not a good look, that, is it? But yeah, you're right.
We've all seen it.
Probably all done it a bit, actually. But yeah, like you say, there's an interesting balance to be had between making it so difficult that they're not enjoying it, but also making it challenging enough that you're going to develop their skill set. So that's something for all you parents out there. Have a think about, consult someone who knows what they're talking about on that. And there's probably a nice middle ground to be struck. So
yeah, definitely.
Further ado, though, let's get into your bag, James. A man who can have anything. What's he got? Let's start from the top. Let's have a look at the big dog.
Right. Well, worryingly again, so when we filmed this the first time, I didn't know what drive was under the head cover, and I think it's the same one. I'm not sure. So it's the Callaway Paradigm AI Smoke. Now, it's the triple diamond version. I'm not saying for 1 second that it should be the triple diamond version, because a lot of people will be commenting, or can they comment on the podcast? It's not my world.
Yeah. Well, actually, now we've got a YouTube channel, so this will be going as a visual medium. So I'm glad
wonderful.
You look presentable and you're not in your pajamas. So yes, people can comment on it.
This is actually a pajama top, but yeah. So I shouldn't be using the triple diamond, but what I've found with it, and I think we discussed this briefly, you can see the T marks on here that I strike it a little bit out the toe quite a lot. Now, in an ideal world, I would practice, I would hit it more out the middle. I'd probably get a little bit more ball speed and things like that. But realistically for me, I don't have that much time to practice, contrary to what a lot of people think, because this is what we do for work. But we have other things going on. So I like the driver. I can hit it out the toe. I come slightly across it, slightly, like 8 degrees. But I find that because I hit it out the toe, it comes out with enough ball speed and a low enough spin where it doesn't really move much in the air. And it just kind of goes. So like I play golf with a lot of my friends, and if they hit a really, like Chris, for example, on my channel, Chris bombs it a lot of the time, and I'll hit this like horrible toey, gear effecty, just non-strike with this triple diamond, and it lands shorter than him. As long as it's not like really wet, it just runs and runs and runs. A lot of the time, it's like up near him or past him, and he says, "How on earth is that near mine?" And I'm like, "Well, I just kind of found a little thing that works for me." So it'll be interesting when obviously the new ones come out. We've seen a couple of them on the conforming list this week. I really hope that they haven't changed it or tried to fix it if it's not broken, kind of thing. Because a lot of the times when, like Callaway, the Paradigm range, both of them for the 2 years, I think has been really good. Probably been Callaway's best driver yet. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. 'Cause we were together on the lot, like when we went to see it, didn't we? And can't talk about anything, but it's, yeah, I don't know. It'd be really interesting to see when we test it properly what they've done to it.
It's interesting that you touch on that. I found that as a driver reviewer, people are often wanting to hear about the latest, this is going to go X amount further and so on and so forth. But sometimes the differences between models are the slight nuances that you might have struck on one there. For example, your particular triple diamond head out the toe performs really well for you. I had a similar experience. My miss is the opposite. My miss is like low heel. Titleist GT, when I went and tested the Titleist GT driver down at Woburn, every time I hit that little low heely shot, the ball speed retention was much higher than I normally see it. My smash factor would normally drop off to like 140, 141. This was staying at kind of 144, 145, which is really, really good for me. So sometimes within ranges, you find little nuances like that, and fitters really good fitters.
Yeah.
Guys talking about, is it SGGT?
It's SGGT.
SGGT. We'll put a link in the description, actually, down below. Seen some of their stuff. It looks really, really good. Guys like that will understand certain nuances of certain heads and be able to guide you into that when they see a deliberate or a consistent misstrike. If you like, Ludwig Aberg, who I did a What's in the Bag with, he said when he's testing out new drivers, he disregards all the good strikes because he's not bothered. When they come out the middle, they're all pretty similar. He wants to know what it does when he hits that low heel or that high toe. That's all focused on the driver thing.
It's a really interesting comment. I mean, so I recently did a video at SUGT where we did like a proper unbiased driver fitting, because often we're very lucky we get to go and get fitted for all the drivers, but you're getting fitted in-house. So you're going to TaylorMade, you're going to Titleist, you're going to Callaway. And I often think if you can go somewhere where they have everything, so we like narrowed down a shaft with this green Acura. I think that's how you pronounce it. I kept calling it Akara, and Chris was shouting at me.
Acura, James, just Acura.
Acura, right?
Yeah,
and so we narrowed down the shaft like that, and then he actually put me into a Titleist head because that was kind of doing a similar thing. So it's interesting how, and he said like, "How do you feel about that?" I was like, "Well, yeah, it's great. I like it." So it's interesting how, and obviously when we do club fitting videos, it's not always one to purchase. It's just a kind of like what if scenario for the content and for the video. So I think a lot of people sometimes think, well, for every club fitting we get to attend, you walk out with a new club for the bag, and it's not always the case, is it? Because often, so this has got a hazardous 6.0 in it.
Yeah.
And often for me, that's just what I go back to. Like if anyone says, "Oh, what shaft do you want this sending?" It's always the hazardous 6.0. So I just think it's a really nice kind of middle ground. It's not too stiff. I can feel the weight of it, so it works nice.
Perfect. All right, let's come to fairway. How we bridging the gap between your driver and your iron set?
Well, there's two.
You a fairway hybrid man, or are you two fairways?
I'm a hybrid man as of last week. That might be a new addition, actually. I don't think you've seen it, but we'll talk fairway first. So fairway, first of all, little Arnie's Army head cover. I was very lucky to play Bay Hill last year with Roy Saunders, who's Arnold Palmer's son-in-law, which was lovely. Got to speak to him a lot about the great man and about the hollowed turf. But
Hello, James. I've just got to pick the name up. You just got the name down there. Hang on. There you go.
Perfect. Thank you. Just on the sides, great. So PXG Black Ops 3 wood. And I really like the flight it gives me. I got fitted for this at PXG, so again an in-house thing. But that's KBS TD shaft.
Yeah, great.
Really nice. I was in an between the driver actually, and I do like to have a lot of people like to have like one brand in the bag.
Yeah,
I like to be the other way. I like to kind of mix it up like quite heavily. But I'm like, right, well, I'm not having both in, and I really like the 3 wood, so I'll put the 3 wood in, and that seems to work really, really nicely. It's adjustable. I can hit it off the deck because it's like quite a kind of long head and stuff. So yeah, quite enjoy it.
One thing I love about that head, I put that Black Ops range in general down as one of the most underrated ranges of
I think PXG have come on, and a lot of people, I don't know, I've done quite a few PXG videos this year, and the comments often are like, oh, another PXG video. But I do a video a day, so it's kind of hard not to cover all bases, as it were. So, but yeah, for me, the PXG range is probably the most improved throughout. Like the 0317T irons will rival any hollow-bodied iron. I think the Sugar Daddy wedges are fantastic. I'll show you my putter in a bit. One of them, which is really, really good. The ball now is decent as well. I think this ball's better than the previous generation ball. So, like before, I don't think you could play a full PXG bag, but now you probably can.
I think, yeah, you might have a little spoiler alert there. We're doing a little awards ceremony at the end of the year when we're filming one of our podcasts. The pointies for kick point. The pointies, we're going to call it, James.
Oh, not the SBs.
No, not the SBs. No, and we're probably going to have a little most improved category, and I reckon PXG will be in with a good shout, like you say, through the bag, driver, all the way through to ball. I was really impressed with that.
You could have called it the kickies.
Yeah, we thought kickies, but we kind of preferred the pointies. But we're still workshopping it, James. It could change, yeah. It could absolutely change, yeah.
A project name. It's a project name.
Correct. But the one thing I was getting at with that 3-wood, I love the kind of faces. When you look at it face on, it's almost rectangular, isn't it? So there's it doesn't lift up at the heel and toe much. If you're a low heel or a low toe striker, you just look at that rectangular face. It reminds me of an old, remember the Orlimar product? You ever remember Orlimar?
You've gone straight over my head there, mate.
There was Jim Furyk was a big Orlimar man back in the day. It's got a very similar head shape to that. But yeah, I think that's a really cool little design feature of that PXG. So we're now a hybrid man, you said, James. Talk to me.
and this very rarely happens. It came from a video that I did last week. And it's a Clubs for Cash special. And before I show you what it is, I'm going to show you the price. It's kind of marked out a little bit, but
$49.99. That
49, so less than 50 of the King's English pounds, right? And it's an Adams Idea hybrid, and it is just phenomenal. It's 18 degree, I think it is. Yeah, 18 degree. And the head shape on it, I've got to be careful, there's a light up here and I keep putting, but it's like fairly battered, but for 50 quid, this was so far before its time, it's frightening. So I've got a video coming out next week, which by the time this comes out might be out, and I'm comparing it to the TaylorMade QI Tour hybrid, which is a very similar shape. Obviously, we on a TaylorMade bought out Adams, didn't they, for that technology? So, and I don't want to spoil it, but there's not a lot of difference. And that hybrid's £300 plus. So I do like a bargain as well. Like I like to think that what I put in my bag, obviously we do have a decent sized audience. So a lot of people maybe look at that and think, oh, is there value there? And I think sometimes we have a little bit of a duty to there is value. Like I work very closely with Golfers for Cash, and the value in some of the second hand, like not all of it, but some of it is just quite frankly ridiculous.
Honestly, I do a little retro review series on our channel. I did the Adams, not that one. It was the Adams DHY Pro hybrid. It's a little more iron-like and same stuff. Just nothing in ball speed. Could do anything I wanted with it from any light. Adams had that sort of hybrid category tied up for about a 2-year period before TaylorMade.
And they've come back, haven't they? Is it like a sub-brand of TaylorMade now, I think?
I believe so, yeah. There's something.
It looks really good. Is your retro review better than Big Al's retro review, or is it like a? Is it a clash of the heads? Or?
I don't think so. I mean, we sort of came up with it as a commercial partnership, and then realised Al had one going on as well, and he had some much better graphics than we've got.
You wouldn't want to clash heads with Al, would you?
Would not want to clash heads. And when I bump into him, I never bring up the retro review series in case it's a sticking point.
I can't wait till we're all in this, because it is. I can't wait till we're all in the same room.
You can get yourself a little I Love Golf Monthly's retro review t-shirt printed and just whip that up. That'd be good. Cool. Right, on to irons. Now, these, I always see these knocking around in your videos. These are a bit special, aren't they? Talk to me.
They are. So these are, they're a set of copper Tacoma 301s. They're a split set. So I've got the CB in 4, 5, and 6, and 7. And 8, 9, and wedge, I've got the MB, so the blade. And it's very funny we had that conversation at the start of the podcast where who should really use blades. Because I mean, I can strike a golf ball. I think if I had a handicap now, it'd probably be like low single figures, maybe 4 or 5. And I'd quite enjoy having that. I don't think I'd be near scratch because I'm not consistent enough. But I enjoy striking a golf ball. I enjoy taking an 8 iron onto a range if I have time and just kind of working away at it. And I think having the combination set's really interesting. So these are actually
audience. He's doing himself a bit of a disservice. I've seen him play. You can still get it around the golf course.
Well, you only saw one hole, I think. But yeah, it's the video goes out today, actually, which I know this is no good for anyone because this is probably going out in a couple of weeks. But so there's only 100 sets of these. So these are to mark mine and Chris's next 100 tour, where we take on the next best 100 golf courses across the UK and Ireland. Obviously, we're nearly halfway in because we've been going a year and we do it every Sunday. Some courses haven't wanted us to film, so that's fine. So we've had to kind of like fill in with courses we think could be in there. But yeah, the fact that we kind of had the idea of this and Tacoma ran with it was really, really cool. So got to really thank the guys for that. And then I've since had them retro fitted at SGGT with the LA golf shafts, and they've been pured as well. So for me, it's like, the heads would set you back like 500 quid, something like that. And the shafts obviously were expensive on their own, but being able to kind of merge it all together, you're still saving money rather than going and getting like £1,000 set of golf clubs with upcharged shafts and with grips and having the shafts cured and stuff like that. So being able to do that, I think that opens up the market to D2C massively for people, because the one thing with the D2C you can't do is get them fitted.
Yeah, it always seems to be the sticking point when I do review stuff that's more direct to consumer. Exactly that. There's a lot of the hardcore that want to be able to go in and get them exactly custom fitted. But like you say, there's options. If you find places like SGGT, Precision Golf, these independent fitters, they can retrofit and retro build this stuff to your specifications. I just want to touch on those LA golf shafts because I'm desperate to try them. I still haven't. When I went to the Live Golf event this year, loads of the guys we did What's in the Bags with, Richard Bland, Garcia, obviously Bryson.
I think Bryson had his own, doesn't he? Does DJ have his own as well?
No, Bryson. Yeah, Bryson's got his own Bryson series. I think Sergio was in I think your one, the L series.
Yeah. So, there's the A series, and then the L series is like the heavier one. Yeah. And I'm not a shaftoid. These got fitted, and the guys are very knowledgeable. I'm unfortunately not as knowledgeable. I should be, but I'm not. And I've got a lighter one in the 4-iron just to help it launch a little bit more. And again, that's something where if you go for a fitting, how often would you get a different shaft fitted in different irons? It just doesn't happen, does it? So, and then I think actually in the wedge, is there a different one in the wedge as well? There's no L series. Yeah, so I basically got A series in the 4 and then L series in the rest. You're right, yeah.
There's it's not that uncommon. I mean, yeah, like you say, if you a standard fitting, you don't necessarily see that. You go to some of these specialist places, I see that a fair amount. Again, some of the What's in the Bags I've done with pros, certainly in the 3, 4, even 5-iron at times, there might be a slightly different shaft to the rest.
Yeah,
the rest.
I think for your everyday consumer though, like I've never been to a generic brand and had that. Like it's always, and the fact primarily because a lot of it's just fitted from a 7-iron still, isn't it? Which like blows my mind that. Like I've been to some of the best fitting areas, centres, brands in the world, and it's still like, oh, there's your 7-iron, and you're like,
yeah.
Whereas SCGT do 4.6 wedge, 4.68 wedge, which is great because you have the option to do that in all the heads. So it's cool. And for somebody who is a bit like I said earlier, I'm not like a shaftoid, but I do really enjoy club fitting and watching the process. And so Scott sent me the video of the irons being built where the shafts are being cured and stuff. And I don't know if you can overlay it to this edit. I'll send it to you because it's really cool. Like just having that experience of seeing them be built as well is really good. And if anyone wants to see it, the video is live. So
yeah, we discussed puring actually on one of our previous episodes. And just to recap, in case anyone missed that, it's basically the process of finding the optimal orientation for a shaft to sit on. So sometimes in manufacturing processes, obviously you want stuff to be made perfectly symmetrical and to perform the same on every single axis, but there are just manufacturing tolerances. So puring puts the shaft in the machine, tests the load, keeps spinning it on various axes, finds the most stable axis.
Basically where the spine of the shaft is, isn't it?
Pretty much spine alignment, but on steroids. Then you mark that up, and then the shaft goes in at that orientation, and that can mean what probably does in your set.
Yeah.
The shaft graphics are all over the place. Shaft graphics can be on the front, the back, the side, wherever that most stable orientation is.
Yeah. The 3 I've picked are exactly the same, funnily enough. But yeah, it does. And I quite like that because it's a talking point. And if you like golf, you like talking about golf, don't you? So when people just don't go because your head's loose, your shaft come around like, listen up, we're gonna have a good 10 minutes here, boy. Don't worry.
Don't worry, let me tell you all about puring.
Yeah. Have you ever heard about shaft orientation?
And that's why you've got all those mates, James, isn't it? Right, on to the wedges. Now, I think you had a decent fitting for these wedges from memory, am I right?
I did. And it was, well, if you pick one name off the floor, do you want to get down there and get this one? It was Bob Vokey.
Hang on, I'll go.
Yeah, just grab him. Yeah,
I'm
not often a name dropper actually, but I was really lucky, and it wasn't the SM10; it was the launch of the SM8. At the time, we were working really closely with Titleist on a short game series we were doing, so we got invited over. Chris Beaumont, the legend, sorted it out, and yeah, so we got to spend some time with Bob Vokey. Fitted me and Chris for some wedges.
Where was it? Where was it, James?
It was somewhere in Spain. Flew to Malaga and then went north, I think. La Cala, could it be?
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember the location. I remember the fitting, which was really, really good. And yeah, it was just magical, to be honest. You can imagine stood there in front of his name's on the wedges, and the lasting memory is Chris has thinned one like knee high, and Bob's turned around and gone, "Oh, bite!" Just like, spin. Yeah, so it had quite a good sense of humour as well, which. Yeah, so just kind of talking grinds and things like that. It worked really, really nicely, and I've kind of stuck with him. I've changed a little bit of one because times change, don't they? And my short game's probably changed a little bit over the last 4 years as well. So I've actually got my favourite club in the bag is a 60-degree Vokey. It's the K grind. Yeah. I've got them in the raw finish, all of them. So they're rusted really nicely, actually. And I think with the black shafts, so these are just standard kind of wedge shafts. They're not the LA Golf shafts. But for me, they look really, really good. I haven't got them rusty because I think it's going to generate more spin. I haven't got them rusty because I think it looks like a Tour Pros wedge. I've got them rusty because I think they look really good. And there's nothing worse than buying a wedge, like a black one, for example, hitting 3 bunker shots with it and it being absolutely ruined. That's just one. I love a black wedge when it's new, but as soon as it gets a mark on it, I'm like, right, well, that's old. That's awful. Whereas this, they're kind of designed to look that way, so I quite like it. And the rare day we get a little bit of sun, it does stop a bit of glare as well.
You're preaching to the converted here, James. I've been banging on the podcast for ages. I just wish most of these manufacturers would offer their MBs or CBs in raw finishes. Well, I love a raw iron. So you're preaching to the converted there.
I actually got some of the TaylorMade P7MCs in raw to test. I got them second hand from Clubs for Cash, and then I took them back. It was a really good video, and then luckily enough, you can take them back after a week. So, but yeah, and I just loved them. Like they felt a little bit soft. I don't know if it's because it's raw. I don't know if it's because for me visually, all your senses tie in, and they look amazing, and I've struck it well. So. Yeah, and I just really enjoyed it.
I don't necessarily think that's a placebo effect. I think when you leave off that last coating of chrome or whatever it may be, you're just getting to the nitty gritty of the soft steel. You're not having that extra hardened coating on the outside. So everything I've tested in raw, I feel what you're feeling there. Just something a little bit softer. And I look at the manufacturers sometimes. Crikey, I've bored some. If you're boring people about shaft puring on the course, I have bored some of these guys at the press trips where they'll sit next to the R&D guy, for example, Matt Bovey from TaylorMade. My God, that man wants to avoid me at all costs.
Well, I have noticed, we've only been in a couple of press trips together, but I have noticed generally you do end up sitting on your own.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, it could be a hygiene thing. It could be that. I don't know what it is, but I didn't
want to go down that route. But
yeah, I just wish they would. Why not offer it? It's less work. You don't have to do the last cooking bit. Just leave it.
Yeah.
That's what I think anyway. So what have you changed from Bob? Sorry. So Bob recommended you into what? Was it lob wedge?
Lob wedge, yeah. It was M grind. So a little bit more versatile. But actually, because probably my strength of my game is bunkers. I really enjoy bunkers. I mean, I'm not going to say you get up and down all the time because that would be ridiculous. But I think I'm probably up there stats-wise quite well. So I don't know. I don't feel like I need the versatility of the wedge. The K grind for me, I'll just open it a little bit, not a lot. There's 60 degrees on there anyway, so very rare do you need to open one of them up. And the amount of, because it's like a low bounce, but there's loads of camber on the back, so I can smash that into the back of the sand or the grass or whatever I want to do, and pretty much know how it's going to react. So it's probably because I don't spend as much time practicing short game as I used to do. So I think I don't have the ability anymore to maybe open the face up and judge the trajectory as much as I did, because that purely comes from time spent doing it. Whereas now I'm like, right, open it a little bit, hard as I can, and I pretty much know where it's going to go. And that for me really narrows it down just in one club.
Yeah, for anyone listening who struggles in bunkers, that K grind, whether you go the stock K grind or the low bounce K, you've got there, the sole width on that makes bunker shots so much.
Again, a lot of people think it's like in brackets a hacker's bat, and it's probably not the right terminology, but it's not. Honestly, it's like you'll see so many tour players use these, won't you? Because it just makes it so much easier. It just simplifies it.
Now, so there's that low bounce K that you've got there. There's also a K Star that they've just released into their matrix that Louis Oosthuizen had in his What's in the Bag, which he didn't realise until I told him. He just thought it was a K grind. He didn't realise.
I bet he thought you were such a loser, didn't he?
He certainly did. If you look that back, you can see the moment in his eyes where he loses all respect for me. It's quite early on, actually.
Hi, I'm Joe.
God. And Rory recently had the K Star in his bag for that, for his win at the Tour Championship at the end of the season. So I think it's definitely catching on. Right, putter, James, talk to me.
Right, well.
Putters, is this plural or singular?
It's still plural, unfortunately. I'll talk you through what I've bought first. So I've got this. I got this off Facebook, and I bought it from a guy called Nick.
I saw this video, James. Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a whack. So recently I've put some gun oil in the head cover because we said we like clubs going rusty. I've ruined it already. It's not too bad, but it's a Trillium Santa Fe. And it literally, so I paid 500 quid for it. And I don't often buy golf clubs anymore because we're inundated with them, luckily, aren't we? And I thought, you know what, I have to have that. And I do really like it. It's really soft. So like the winter, slow greens, it's probably not the best to leave. I've left quite a lot short recently. That gun oil's really got that rust out, actually. Props to John Robar from Woolley Park Golf Club because he told me to do this. And it's kind of...
And those, the younger people in the audience won't remember times when you had to oil your putters. This was a thing back when we were young, wasn't it? Like if you got a Scotty Cameron, you'd be sat there in the evening watching Noel's house party, oiling up your.
And it's funny, you can see the moisture in the head cover. Look.
Yeah. Needs a lot, doesn't it?
And I basically bought that because I wanted it. Like I haven't bought it because it's going to make me hold more putt. And funnily enough, I have held quite a few good putts with it. I took it out for one round, putted really well with it, kept it in. Took it not to Spain when we were there. I took it to Portugal a couple of weeks ago. Took it out of the head cover and it was covered in rust and I nearly cried. But I actually still put quite well with it. So it was like, well, it doesn't really matter, but I bought it to like the look of it and now I've ruined it. And I'm buzzing that it's now come back to life. So, I think often with putters, you can do what I do, which is probably the wrong thing to do, and change in and out. And I have a very interesting relationship with putting. I don't think I'm a terrible putter, but I think I have to keep having the honeymoon periods. Otherwise, it doesn't really work for me that well. And again, this is me trying to work it out in my head, but I've had putter fittings in the past, and it's just like I get it out there. I'm just not infused by it. I'm just like, this is boring. And I know you're a massive lab fan, aren't you? With the
lie angle balance in general, not necessarily lab. That's where some people are going a little bit wrong, thinking I'm sort of brand loyal. I'm not. It's I just really like the concept of a putter that doesn't want to rotate away from square. Makes a lot of sense for me. I've since spoken to a couple of people. James Jankowski, do you know James? JJ Golf Putting, very, very good putt coach. We had a lengthy chat and he talked me into that maybe that wouldn't suit 100% everyone. I'm a bit absolutist. I'm a little bit, I think everyone.
Yeah, I don't think it suits me. Like, so we met on the Square to Square launch, didn't we?
Yeah.
And had a little brief chat about it. I think I like it. I like it for certain people. I've tested them and I've done the review. And I didn't, it's funny because I never go into a review wanting to be skeptical or wanting to be positive. I just go in open-minded. And I think you have to be in this job. Otherwise, it's not really a review. It's just basically, here's what I initially thought about this product. And the Jailbird, I putted really well with it. Only like we got it on cap toe and the numbers were pretty good. And I took it out on the course and like hold a couple and stuff. But then again, putting's not necessarily like a huge weakness. So I don't know if I'd hold them putts anyway with a normal putter. And I don't think I like the look of it enough to warrant having it.
There's an interesting, sorry to interrupt there, but I interviewed Sam Hahn from Lab Golf last week. And funnily enough, we wanted to put it out as a special, but he said a few things about various companies that we're a bit worried about putting out. So we're going to have to dissect that a little bit. But
with the revealer thing?
Yeah. So one of the main things that we spoke about though was it's almost opposite to, you know, how you're looking for that honeymoon period where I want to put a new putter in, get that new putter bounce, like you get the new manager bounce in football. You're going to get that new putter bounce, go through that honeymoon period. Once that ends, I'll just bring another one in. He feels that lab golf putters are the exact opposite. So basically, when people get them in, he's had a lot of people who've struggled for a week to 2 weeks while they're essentially getting to grip with a new torque profile, because without wanting to get too technical, putters that want to rotate, you'll feel where that putter blade is in the stroke a little bit because the force is working against
similar to the Santa Fe that I've got. It rotates quite heavily, yeah.
Exactly, it's quite a heavy toe hang, so you'll feel that face a lot and you'll understand where that is through the stroke. So when you pick up a Lion balance putter and you start putting with that, a lot of people feel it feels a little bit vague in motion because there's no torque letting your hands know where the putter blade is. Mm-hmm. So they're searching for that and finding it feels a bit vague. But to Sam Hahn's point is, once you get used to that feeling, that's what you should be chasing. You should be chasing not being able to feel the blade, because if it's not moving, if you can't feel it, it's not rotating away from square. Yeah. And that's liver. So he thinks it's a very strange kind of hangover period that people have. And then 2 weeks afterwards, happened with Lucas Glover massively. He had 2 weeks to get used to it. He wasn't sure, popped it in 1-2 tour events and saw the rest of his career. So yeah, we'll buy into it a little bit. It's like that reverse honeymoon period that you're talking about.
Yeah, and again, I'm not against it. I've tried. I see the benefit in it. I think if you're becoming new to golf, like say we mentioned earlier about the juniors coming through, and you give them like a Langle balance putter, and that's all they ever know, I think it is going to make it easier for them. But I think someone who's a little more battle hardened and has been in the trenches more and struggled with I don't know. I think, is it an answer? Maybe. Well, it's not an answer, is it? That's a terrible analogy. But is it the answer? Maybe for some people. I think fitting's vitally important with it, as you know as well. And then like back to I think all the brands are doing a really good job of it. I think I've tested the PXG, I've tested the Odyssey, I've tested the Labs, I've tested a few other ones, and I don't know. Is there an industry leader? I think there's definitely an industry first. But even down to like the Axis One putters and stuff like that, I think rather than all shouting at each other saying ours is better than yours, I think actually if they all kind of harness it together a bit and say, look, these are the best putters you can buy, people are going to be brand loyal anyway. So like if you get the world's biggest Callaway fan, but they know that the Lab putter would be really good for them. Now Odyssey have brought those out, they're going to be straight into it, and that's obvious. And I think, will we see a Scotty Cameron one, do you think? I think we probably will.
Seen a couple of prototypes on tour, I think. Who's the young chap who not Elvis Presley, who's the Elvis?
I bet he hates that joke.
I'm sure he does. Sorry, if you're listening, I'm sorry, but I'm trying to think of his surname. Just from the Australian PGA.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean.
He had not confirmed line balance, but where the shaft went in and everything looked like it was very much that way orientated. So we went down to Titleist recently. Apparently, there's no plans for it, but I've seen at least 2 or 3 of those.
Aren't they? We all know that. We all know the score with that. Like it's I think every brand will have one. I think PXD were very clever bringing the Allen out as quick as they did. I think they almost. I'm not going to say they rushed it through, but I think it was priority number 1 in the PXG factory to get that out there, which was quite interesting. So I got to go out to Scottsdale and see the Gen 7s and the Allen launch, which was really, really cool. So, and again, I saw that tested on a machine against the Lab, and the results were good. So, but I imagine if I go to Lab and see it tested against an Allen, the Lab, you know what I mean? I think, I'm not saying they're going to be biased towards their own products, but I think, come on, like you're going to go to a factory, they're not going to let it lose, are they?
Yeah. And I think, sometimes we have to take that with a little bit of a pinch of salt when you're going around testing these clubs and like you say, testing them at a particular manufacturer's venue. You've always got that in the back of your mind, haven't you?
Yeah, you can't drink the Kool-Aid, can you?
Correct.
Yeah.
Right, that is the bag of James. Oh, hang on, we got another one.
I told you there was 2. So this is the Hercules, which I got out in Scottsdale, and I just fell in love with the look of it. So it's more of like a kind of half moon shape. It's got the proper standard old school putter neck on it. So as far away removed probably from a Langle balance as you can get. It's 36 inches in length, which was the big reason why I wanted to basically test a putter out there. And I got on the putting green with it and loved it. Because I'm only 5'9", and for me, it's like a lot of people. Oh, you need a 34-inch, a 33-inch, you need to get over it. I'm the other way. If I stand taller, because I'm not a tall gentleman anyway, if I stand taller, it takes the arc away from it a little bit more. So I can almost feel like I can just kind of move it around nicely. And again, it's personal preference. It's a feeling. It's the closest thing to a putter fitting that I think's gone really well. And it was a 10-15 minute thing where it was like, right, try a longer one. Let's see that. And it worked really, really well. Your arms are a little bit more up and it's a lot more of a feel-based technique. And I could show you a reel from our next 100 tour. I think we played at Turnberry, Robert the Bruce. And I must have held between 7 and 10 good 10, 15, 20 footers, which never happens. So, again, just having those memories means that you can always potentially go back to that. And it's a bit firmer feel as well. So for greens that aren't maybe as fast, it's really, really good.
It's interesting with putters because a lot of people don't try that out. You walk in the pro shop and almost everything is 34 inches because
it winds me up so much because a company, I'll go to the lens to send all of us in the media, as it were, a putter, and it's like a 200, 300, 400 pound putter, and they'll send you a 34-inch, and you're like, where do I go with this? Because literally, it could be the best putter in the world, but it's an inch too short, even though I'm, like I said, not 6 foot odd like you are. But I feel like if it was the right length, it would just feel so much better. But if they're going to send a driver, and this is all the brands, I'm not narrowing anyone out, but if they send a driver, what degree do you want? What shaft length do you want? What shaft torque do you want? What grip do you want? And I know obviously drivers are the sexy sell, aren't they? But I think if you're going to try and sell a putter, or at least give someone the best possible chance of liking it.
Yeah, a very valid point. That unfortunately, I don't test the putters for golf monthly, so I'll let someone else deal with that problem. But lastly, before I let you go, James, because we see you in the kitchen itching for a croissant.
Pancakes actually for this morning.
Pancakes on the go, good lad. So, without naming any names, because we're probably still in embargo period here, which I think we are by the time this will go out. You've been out, you've seen a lot of new clubs. I've now seen a lot of new clubs that are coming out for 2025. Maybe don't say any that you are desperately looking forward to getting your hands on further, but what are you looking forward to seeing in 2025? What do you hope to see from equipment in 2025?
Probably a really good way of putting this without getting us both in trouble is I haven't physically seen the Ping yet. I think I've seen them all apart from the Ping. And I was a big fan of the G430 10K. And I purposely try to avoid pictures and blurbs until I see them. Because like for us, we're in a very, very privileged position. We get to see them before a lot of people. So I try to kind of stay away. And I've seen pictures and then quickly shut them away. But I know the Ping is coming soon. So yeah, be interesting to see. I don't know when embargo is. I don't know when we can actually talk about it. But we've all seen the conforming list, haven't we? So we all know that something potentially is coming from nearly everyone, which is quite interesting.
It's been a few leaks, so looking forward to seeing the Ping stuff. Okay.
I also think as well, to finish this, I wish the conforming list was private. Because for us, we go to all the lengths of like concealing the information and making sure you don't tell anyone, having a panic attack if someone sees a head cover on a press trip. And then like, oh yeah, by the way, it's on the conforming list. It's black and white, but you can pretty much tell what it is. And you're like, oh.
Ruins the surprise, isn't it? It's like having the Christmas presents wrapped under the tree and then just leaving a little screenshot of them on the kid's bed the night before.
That's the best analogy I think I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's not good. All right, brilliant. Well, James, thank you very much for your time. That was really
thank you for having me. I'm a long time listener and first time caller, so thank you.
That's great to hear. Really appreciate it, James. So that's what's in the bag of a man who can have anything. Cheers, James.
Brilliant interview, I think. Like I said, it hasn't happened yet. I'm not going to
What are we going to try and do now? We're going to try and summarise an interview that hasn't happened.
Because all the ones we've done before that we've plugged into this, we have spoken about, because I've heard it. This time I'm going to have to, I'm afraid.
Full disclosure, for the nuts and bolts of the podcast, we were going to try and do this today, but
didn't quite fit
it got a bit heavy. James was out filming. We were trying to fit it all in. So I'm going to do it in the next few days. So who knows what he said? Who knows? It might be total garbage. This, I don't think
I think it will have been, though.
Robbo is a very he's a funny guy, interesting guy, good equipment history. So I've no doubt what you've just listened. You know more than us. Was it any good?
Let us know.
What's the pod?
Thank you to James for coming on. I'll link his socials and his YouTube channel in the description if you want to follow him if you didn't before. And it does, I saw Peter Finch talking on his podcast about potentially taking a club deal. because he thinks he'll make more money from the club deal and then sacrificing having to do club review videos. And it's an interesting one for these kind of YouTubers. It would open up a space in the market.
On that, haven't you? Because as soon as you take your equipment deal, you can no longer really be seen as a credible independent tester. And if that's what you're living and dying by, you got to know your flag to the mast there, haven't you?
Absolutely. Perhaps conversation for a different day when that comes along. And that's the pod for the week, Joe.
One thing I'm disappointed that you haven't mentioned, you didn't mention my tracksuit top, which you keep telling me.
It's the Nick Doherty top.
Yeah, Nick Doherty's been all over this on
I think
Sky
so.
Sports.
Sky Sports signed a deal.
Top,
but they signed a deal with Adidas at the Open. And I remember that being quite big news because they've always been FootJoy, and I didn't see that coming, to be fair. And then that was the one I think Nick Doherty was first in on like the first day of coverage, and I was like, wow, that's an about turn.
Do you know who else I saw in this? Actually, this is unisex. Annabelle Dimmock won her sort of comeback event. She was like in this and some bold white.
Yeah, that was the jacket of the summer. I think it was everywhere.
No,
I like it. It suits the Sky Sports team a lot, I think.
And who else?
And Joe Ferguson as well, of course. Sorry.
Yeah,
God.
Yeah. Very forgetful today, aren't you? All that writing those charts out.
Suits Nick Doherty more, but that's fine. You do you. That chart is a bit of a joke.
It's special.
But I think we hit something new today that I really enjoyed. Head to head.
Yeah, we've been breaking ground all day here. Head to head.
Yeah.
Jingles.
Ask the pod and plugging interviews that haven't happened yet.
And influencer, what's in the bags?
Hey, don't tell you we don't give you the good stuff here on Kickpoint. For now, though, that'll be it. You can email us as always. Just email us anything. I don't care at this point. Just get in touch, man. I do care. It's ridiculous. We'll be on YouTube next week. The YouTube channel will be launching on December the 12th. I've really nailed that down over the last few hours.
Yeah, you started off saying we're not going to commit to a date, and now you've put a very firm date.
You want to give a date to the people, and there's no way we can't hit that date.
Cool, let's work to
So I'm hoping all the old videos will be on there, but definitely the newest video that drops next Thursday will be on YouTube, and by now our Instagram and TikTok will be live. Please go and follow us on there and subscribe. It's all starting from afresh, and it's quite scary.
Just starting to worry about what Monty and our Christmas special is going to think about our Ask the Pod singing jingle.
Oh no, God.
We're going to have to do that in front of him.
Yeah, we could get him to do it as well.
Oh, I doubt it.
I doubt that highly. I think we're pushing
worth a game.
Hey, find out. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you very much for listening again and watching. If you're watching over on the website, we'll see you next week. Goodbye.